Hello everyone, I am Martine Batchelor. I live in France in the countryside at the moment. I started meditating when I was about 22 years old. When I went to Korea, I became a soul nun. I had the great fortune for 10 years to practice in a beautiful tradition. And then my main practice was asking, what is it? And then there was this wonderful teacher, Master Kuzan. And then I had the opportunity to translate the talks of Master Kuzan into English. And then I stayed a nun for 10 years and I stopped being a nun. And then I went to live in a community, Dharma community, Buddhist community in England. And then I learned more about insight, vipassana, mindfulness, meditation, which I found very useful. And then I started to teach meditation. I wrote more books about women in Korean Zen. But also what I became interested was in a way how people seem to be able to meditate on retreat. But what they seem to have more difficulty was in a way dissolving their painful habits. And then I became more interested in that aspect. So I wrote a book called Let Go, A Buddhist Guide to Breaking Free of Habits. And then I realized that one of the main triggers for developing in a way, difficult habits was actually our reactivity to tonality, to Vedana. And that's why then I became very interested in mindfulness of feeling tone. I organized a small symposium on it. I wrote article of it. I practiced more meditation on it. So I am a meditation teacher. I also write books and articles. And then more recently, I have been associated with scientific research. Like there was this 3-year project in France of seeing how meditation could help seniors who would be 65 years old or more, and see how does it help prevent memory decline, does it help well-being. And so we finished that study last year, and then the results slowly are coming in, which are quite interesting. I would like to explore what I call the ethic of emptiness. When we're on the path of the Dharma, we are cultivating together equally ethics, meditation, and wisdom. And that's why in a way you have meditation embedded in contemplation, but also very much this aspect, which is ethics. And we could connect, of course, ethics to compassion. So what do I mean by ethic? I mean actually relationship to self, relationship to others, relationship to the world. That's really what ethic is for me. And so what is Buddhist ethics? It's not about rule and regulation, but the Buddhist ethics is really based on wisdom and compassion and understanding that because of change, because of imperfection, because of conditionality, you cannot have fixed ethics, but very much an ethic which comes from the encounter to the world, but with that intention, but also that action motivated, imbued with wisdom and compassion. And there is a very interesting text, of course, for me, because I translated. It's a text which is called the Bodhisattva precepts. So the precept for those who aspire to be awakened, to be awake, and to bring that awakening to everyone. And so these Bodhisattva precepts date for about the 5th century. They were created in China. And in a way, these precepts responding to how can I live an ethical life and can really, for awakening, imbued by wisdom and compassion. And so, of course, they apply to that time. And this brings a little the question, what would be a bodhisattva ethics who aspire to awakening for our time? And a lot of the precepts are about, for example, relieving suffering. So one of the important one is like care for the sick, as if they were the Buddha himself, herself, themselves. Also, a lot of the precepts are about generosity and wise forgiveness. Also about not taking advantage financially, or not using one's position or knowing some people in position of power to take advantage. And of course, one of the main intention is help others to awaken and manifest wisdom and compassion. So these are the precepts, but then the question is, how do I apply them? So it's not only kind of the action themselves, but we have this idea of the three way, the three part of acting, the three part of being ethical. And it's the fact that you have the intention, which is followed by the action, but which is also followed by the effect. And so when we look at ethics, we really have to look what motivates us. How do we act? And what is the result of this action? Because you could have good intention, possibly good action, but possibly not, and you might not have a beneficial effect. So that's why the wisdom is so important to go with the compassion. And then what do I mean by emptiness? I don't mean emptiness as a mystical vacuity, a deep hole, not at all. Emptiness actually is emptying of self-centeredness, emptying of grasping, emptying of hostility. So in a way, it's kind of acting ethically from an other-centered position, acting ethically without grasping, acting ethically without hostility.